Hey, this is Tony here with Salt Strong, and in this video I want to go over the most efficient way that I've found to transport my kayak or paddleboard in the back of a pickup truck. Now, these tips will help you keep from damaging your equipment, because if you're like me, I like to take care of my stuff, because the better you take care of your stuff, the longer it will last. So I've got some tips that will help you keep from damaging your kayak or paddleboard during transport if you are transporting them in the back of a pickup truck. I also have some essential items that I want to go over that will make it easier to transport your kayak or paddleboard in the back of your truck. So let's take a look. So first, let's go ahead and go over some of the essential items you're going to want to consider having to safely and efficiently transport your kayak or paddleboard. And the first thing is a truck bed hitch extender. What this does is it creates an extra surface for your kayak or paddleboard to rest on as it hangs off of the end of your truck bed, because some truck beds can be very short, and you also have some longer truck beds, but it just helps to have that extra support under the front of the kayak or paddleboard. And on this one, as you can see, it also gives you an extra spot to strap down your kayak or paddleboard. And I will go over how to set that up in just a few. Let's go over the rest of the items. You're going to want your equipment for actually strapping it down. I like to use lashing straps. You want to stay away from ratcheting straps because it will put too much pressure on your kayak or paddleboard and can cause it to actually crack or bend or warp. So go with the lashing straps. It secures it just snug enough, not too tight. Again, you don't want it too tight or you will damage your kayak or paddleboard. Also, bungee cords work well. I use a bungee cord when strapping it down to the hitch extender. I just put this bungee cord across the front. You also want some type of red flag. Most states it is required by law to have a flag on any type of load that extends from your truck bed. Another good thing to have is a cable to actually lock down your kayak or paddleboard, and I'll show you how to use that in a second. But if you're like me, I like to load up the night before and have my kayak in the truck and just leave it there overnight. So this gives me a little sense of security that I'll wake up in the morning and it'll still be there. So definitely a plus to have a cable. Now, as far as supporting the kayak or paddleboard, I use this for my kayak, and what it does is it actually fits right underneath the kayak in the grooves underneath the kayak, and it's just made out of some 2x4s, some foam or pool noodles, and then I just wrapped it with some indoor-outdoor carpet and stapled it to the wood. Now, this carpet allows the kayak or paddleboard to slide easily, because if you just try to slide it on bare foam or plastic or anything like that, it's going to stick to it, and it'll actually damage the foam or plastic, and you'll have to replace it a lot more often. Same thing goes for the hitch bed extender. As you can see, I put a pool noodle around the metal bar that goes across, and then I just zip tied some indoor-outdoor carpet to the top of it, and that will allow the kayak or paddleboard to easily slide right up onto the hitch bed extender. Now, this can also double as a support for my paddleboard. I would just turn it sideways and let the paddleboard rest on the soft foam part, and it works out well. If you don't have one of these and you just have a paddleboard, what you can do is just purchase some foam blocks, and that would be all you would really need to rest the kayak or paddleboard on. Another item you'll want to have is a kayak cart, especially if you have a heavy kayak such as a Hobie or some of your wider, larger kayaks, just to make it easier to drag it up to your truck bed and slide it right up on there. Now, going back to the hitch extender, it's also very smart to put a lock on it. That way you can just leave it attached to your truck when you hit the water, and you're not wasting time having to take it off and put it back on when you get on and off the water. Also, this specific bed extender, it is the T-bone. It's made by Boondocks, and you can actually adjust the height of it depending on how high your kayak sits off of your truck bed or anything like that. Also, I like to put a lock to keep this. It's actually two pieces. This lock helps keep this part on and keeps anybody from taking just that part as well. So let's go ahead and set this all up on the truck and see what it looks like. So this is how I have it set up on the truck when I am loading the kayak up. As you can see, I have the support brace in the middle of the truck bed for the kayak to rest on. Also, the bed extender is in place for the front of the kayak to rest on. And if you notice in the back of the truck bed here, I have a little cushion to push the kayak up against to, so it doesn't damage the kayak from hitting the backside of the truck bed. So let's go ahead and show you how I load up the kayak. This is where the cart comes in handy. If you have a heavy kayak or a large kayak, you can just roll it up to the bed extender and slide it right up. Here you can see how easily it slides on that carpeting that I placed over the pool noodle on the bed extender. Two straps is usually all you really need to strap the kayak down to your truck bed. Again, make sure not to make it too tight or you could risk damaging your kayak. All it has to be is snug and it won't go anywhere. That cushion support underneath your paddlecraft will help keep it from getting damaged when you strap it down, because if you strap it down to bare metal, you definitely will risk damaging your paddlecraft. For the paddleboard, you'll notice I replaced the support in the middle with the two foam blocks. This is a pontoon style paddleboard, the L2 Fish, so I use those two blocks. If you have just a standard flat paddleboard, you can get away with using one of those foam blocks. So for the final tip, I wanted to go back to that cable that I was talking about to help lock down your kayak if you plan to leave it in your truck overnight, or if you're at a hotel or a friend's house or anything like that where you have to leave it in your truck. This helps keep it secure so nobody steals it. As you can see, I have the cable just running through the scupper hole there, and then I have it coming down around the kayak, and I have it attached to the bed extender, attached to the lock that I have on there that keeps it from separating, keeps people from stealing that other half of it. So I have it on the lock there. You could also just put a lock around the cable, just wrap it around your bed extender and lock it down that way as well. So that will wrap up this video on some tips for safely and efficiently transporting your kayak or paddleboard in the back of a pickup truck. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, if you haven't already, go to saltstrong.com/insider and check out our Saltstrong Insider Club, where you are guaranteed to catch more fish in less time. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.